I'm sorry, that ski out of nowhere was just too freaking hilarious. On just out of nowhere confessing love. Now, granted, she just said ski. She didn't say that, Akiyama ski or anything like that, but she just out of nowhere. And I mean, the looks that she was given. That girl's in love with that boy. That was way too cute. I absolutely love that. But no, absolutely loved episode 2 of Flower and Asura. Really happy that the second episode didn't just fall off. I mean, the first episode was absolutely incredible. I was afraid that going in the second episode, it's going to be like status quo and everything's going to kind of cool down or whatever. But no, really, really solid episode. And really kind of more focused, I think, for me, around two individuals, obviously, Sundai and An. The two of them are just really kind of polar opposites of each other, one wanting to enjoy the craft and the other one being very serious about the craft. But still, I think the great thing about this episode that I got from it was An's character, although she is kind of a B, she's kind of a B, she has a lot of depth to her that they can really get into. Yes, it is sort of the standard, yes, choosing to do something that you love versus doing something that you're good at, but there's a deeper aspect of it that I think they're setting up to do really well. And the idea of An herself, yes, being conflicted about the idea of doing announcing versus doing recital, but also getting into the idea of innate abilities, things that people are born with, those innate talents that people have. And it seems to sort of be reflecting on other characters. We have that brief moment where Ryoko is talking to Mizuki and she says something to the effect of, it's kind of cruel how some people are born with those talents and whatnot. And then she goes, what? And she's like, oh, never mind. Like she was bringing something up to Mizuki as sort of a nudge, but Mizuki didn't really get where she was going. And she kind of cuts off the conversation very quickly. It's sort of implying that there's something similar to them as well. And I could probably see that being Mizuki herself. I kind of thought that maybe possibly it would be Ryoko herself not really being talented at this stuff, but still enjoying it. Because Mizuki has done broadcast, but it could be an aspect that maybe Mizuki wanted to do something else besides recital. I guess I can technically get into that, but again, this is sort of feeling like it is one of those elements of the senpais have been through this before. Like that aspect, you have these first years coming in. Hana just loves to do it. She doesn't really want to compete or anything like that. She just loves doing the actual recital. You have An over here who used to do recital, but then became announcer because that's what her voice is better built for. And then you have an individual like Shura who just loves what he does. You have these individuals that are going through the same things that these senpais have. So you have like somebody like Mizuki just like, oh man, they're having a lot of problems getting along. Let's just kind of spice things up. Like they're just like, kids, sit down. We've been through this. Let me get you through all the usual motions that you're probably going to go through. It was just really sweet. And yes, I think the reason why I like a lot of this stuff is that it obviously is stuff that I personally kind of connect to. Like I can fully admit that I don't have like the best broadcasting voice. I admit that I don't have a lot of the talents that you'll probably see from a bigger streamer or a bigger content creator. Don't have the looks for that's for damn sure. But it's still one of those things like I have a passion for it. So I want to do that because I just love it. And I might not be the best at it. I might not have the talents or anything like that for it, but I'm going to keep pushing towards it because I enjoy it. It's a lot of stuff in here that's sort of resonating with me that's compounding on top of itself as to why I'm enjoying this series so much. But let's get into all that stuff. Let's start off with the episode proper, opening up with, yes, everybody doing introductions. I like how they kind of set this introduction setup, which technically makes sense for a broadcasting club like this, that the way to get people to kind of settle down, get to know each other and everything like that is to pair everybody up, do each other's introductions. And I really like that. And yes, this is when we get our first introduction to Shodai. And yes, there's a problem here, and I guess I should address at this point that yes, all these characters do address each other differently. That is sort of the social structures of Japan and high school in a lot of cases. Is going to be a lot of people that are, senpais or whatever, they're going to address them with their last names. If they're not familiar with the people, they're going to address them with their family names. Whereas yes, when people get comfortable with each other or senpai talking to their underclassmen, yes, they're going to address them with their given name. I'm going to use given names. Going further, I'm going to use given names because it's too damn hard to jump back and forth. But yes, Shudai. And I like Shudai because I think that there was a feeling here, and I was starting to feel like, oh no, we're going to get into some melodrama, aren't we? I was getting a little bit of fearful with melodrama with Shudai because he comes off a little bit rough early on with Hana. And I do think it makes sense as the episode progresses that, yes, we find out that Shudai himself is somebody that's all about doing stuff that you like. He likes making sounds. So he joined the broadcast club to make sounds. And so he makes his own sounds. He lets Hana listen to it. Hana's able to kind of grasp exactly what's happening in the sound effects. It's really cool. I love that kind of stuff. A very unique thing to kind of throw into a character's passion is making sound effects. So yes, he used to make sound effects for this broadcast club. And yes, they're kind of rivals with the other club that was from another school that An was a part of. And so his whole thing was about passion, and it seems like, yes, in competitions they failed miserably, and An believes that they failed because, yes, they were messing around too much, they weren't taking it seriously, but he was all about not liking people walking over other people's talents. And so I do really feel like when Hana is bringing up her situation, he's like, tell me about yourself. Well, people say that I'm a good girl, I do my chores and everything like that. That's not strength. You're being walked all over. That doesn't sound like strength to me. And like right here, I'm like, oh God, this guy's kind of, you're coming across a little bit too hard there, man. Like, chill out, dude. Relax. But it makes sense. This is a guy that has seen this before. He's seen people walk all over other people. So he's looking at somebody like An and their club from their school, which they were rivals to, where they were walking all over people's talents, and he probably liked An. I want to feel like there's a little bit of a sense of here he might have liked An at some point, and he probably seen how she was forced to take on a role that she didn't want to do. I kind of feel like there might be a sense of that. Like these two knew each other a long time ago. He knew that she loved doing recitals, and at some point she became an announcer because that's what she was better built for. And he probably doesn't like that fact of her dreams and whatnot being walked all over. And so yes, when he sees Hana, who's letting herself get walked all over, yeah, he's probably like, that doesn't sound like strength to me. But it still kind of like clears itself up. He's like, stop being gloomy. He pops a little party popper. Get a little snapping back and forth between him and An, and then going into him talking about his own talents and what he's into. Really cool stuff there. And then, yes, that kind of sort of breaking the ice for him talking to Hana, who is very kind of reserved and not wanting to speak what she wants. So she gets in the recital. Is that a strength? Yeah. When people are passionate about stuff, you're stronger for it. Really cool kind of little introduction between the two of them. And yes, obviously everybody getting swept up in Hana's little recital, which is really cool. Now, transitioning from there, we get into An and Matsuyuki. Sadly, we don't really get much of Matsuyuki. Yes, he did the whole, yes, he's really high grades. He got to do the entrance announcement or speech or whatever. So we get a sense that, yes, this guy's a hard worker. He's really into his studies. He likes to overcome a lot of his weaknesses by pushing hard. That's it. We don't really get much of his past unless I missed something. So that's Matsuyuki. But of course, what kind of facilitates that is, yes, getting it into An herself, that she was part of this club. She gave up being recital in order to go into announcing. And I love this because I almost feel like this is on purpose. And again, this is that aspect that I think that I might be overplaying it, but it really does feel like the studio bind and, the team and, of course, the writer themselves really put a lot of emphasis in here to give you a sense of An as a character. I love the fact that she gets up on that podium and she sounds like she's announcing. Like the way that she's talking, it sounds like a Japanese announcer. The way that she speaks and everything like that's very, yes, like they point out, she's enunciating properly. She's getting, her words are very clear, but it sounds like an announcement. And what's great about it is they still get swept up in it. So it is like that element of that she's a great announcer. Like she's got the voice for it. She's got the way of enunciating and everything like that. She's doing a proper job of speaking it out. But still, you're getting swept up in something. You sound like you're in this moment. And it's so great how it kind of portrayed that with, yes, us as a viewer getting a lot of visuals to represent that. But I felt that. I felt that from how they portrayed that scene that, yeah, that she's still doing recital. Like it's still in there somewhere. She's telling a story. She's announcing, but she's obviously telling the story of Matsuyuki. So they're still kind of blending together. And I think that might actually be her strength. I think she's going to end up being an announcer. I think that when they get into this whole like competition, she's going to do announcing. But what I think is going to be her strength is applying her reciting into it. I think that's what's going to actually make her win in the end. And I would assume or I hope that there's probably going to be an aspect of it that she's not necessarily winning by choosing to do this over doing recital. She's going to realize that I am better at this because of this. And that technically can be the route they take her story. Now, yes, they can go the usual route of, oh, she realizes that she really wants to recite. This is what she's always wanted to do. She was touching some sort of keychain, so I assume there's probably an aspect there that she made a promise with somebody else that they were going to do recital. Somebody really loved her stories. Maybe she lost somebody in the past and they loved her stories, but then at some point she went into announcing. Who knows? But that's sort of the direction they're going, that she did change at some point. She went to the nationals with it, so it's something that she realized she can do better. And yeah, I kind of like towards the later part having that little kind of conflict and it kind of nudging at, yes, I realize this is what I want to do, but this is what I can do, which is kind of cool, which we'll get into. Yeah, we get a little back and forth between Shodai and On about the fact that, yeah, her whole club back in the day used to be like all Spartan. They used to kind of just like treat people horribly. They used to always quit. And she's like, yeah, but your club always sucked. Your stuff always sucked. Again, it's the whole passion versus really kind of being strict. And that does technically reflect when On really does address Hana later on. Yeah, they go to the club room. Insane. And so I'm sure eventually we'll get some backstory about this school, but they rebuilt it, and this freaking broadcast place is huge. Like this school got some money. They got this massive studio there. They got the whole like booth and everything like that set up. So much equipment. Holy crap, so much money put in that place. They get a little bit into the previous competitions they went into, how apparently they forced Satoru to get into that, which, by the way, his voice... I like how Shura has to point out, dang, his voice is deep. This guy's got a voice. That's going to be a thing. Obviously, in the future, that's going to be a thing. At some point, he's going to step forward and do something, and it's going to be like the most like crisp voice. Like, it's just going to be so freaking good. We'll see. But yes, they get into doing some exercises, shows Hana how to do some stuff. They get into enunciating and all that kind of stuff. Mitsuki and Hana get paired up together. And yes, they do the recital. Again, it gets into the whole idea where On thinks that Hana is not taking it seriously. It's getting that whole idea of like, you don't know what you're doing. You're not taking it seriously. The whole smile voice, how you don't really know any of the stuff, but you're doing this. You're wasting your time, basically. And yes, having them finally do a project together and Hana blowing away. We knew that was coming. I like how On earlier, she does read it, but she's not doing it properly. Or at least doing it how she did it before. Which again, Hana is pointing out that yes, back when she was doing the announcing for Matsuyuki, she captured her. And she had, again, her smile voice. But here, she's just reciting and it doesn't sound like she's putting much work into it. There is a feel that she's purposely not getting too into it. Which yes, later on when they do that A-B whole system with the galaxy thing, yes, she gets wrapped up into it. And then Hana basically throws it right back in her face. Shows On that she's damn good at what she does. And again, that might get in that whole element of innate talent versus actual hard work and trying to push towards something that Hana just has. She's built for it. Like, she has the voice. I don't know necessarily that I would agree with that. Like, I can see definitely for an announcer, especially if they have a certain type of voice, that yes, being born with a certain type of voice, you're going to capture people better. Having that deep and rich voice, having that like very kind of soft or captivating voice, that kind of stuff. But for a recital, it's really all about emotion and what you do with it. But yes, I can agree that the two of those together definitely come together to make something incredible. Having that, yes, very deep or very kind of rich voice, and additionally being very good at telling a story. That stuff can both go together. But yeah, like the first episode, I love that they actually have seemingly a story going along with it, and the idea that this whole story they're telling is talking about going towards something, finding this happiness, going together. And yes, having Mitsuki come in there and say, let's go together to Hana, is the idea that two of us have a joy and a happiness that we can build towards. Let's build towards it together. Then turning to On and say, I'm not quite sure what your happiness is. I kind of like that, an idea of like, yeah, we're going to find happiness doing what we want to do. Yeah, I'm not sure what your is. Is it announcing? Is it recital? It's like nudge, nudge. But yeah, I like how Hana's like, yeah, I really love doing that. It was so much fun. It's the first time I ever recite with somebody. And then Han's over there like, getting mocked would have been better. She's just like, she got humbled, dude. It's one of those elements of she just got humbled. Like, she's talking about Hana, how she's not taking it serious. She didn't take it seriously. You're not going to do everything. You're going to fail. I don't want to fail ever again. And then Hana's like, I just want to read with somebody. And then she gets blown away. But no, this one we get the whole like element of going towards something that you're just good at. Going towards something that you just have that ability. That despite the fact that, yes, On seemingly all signs are pointing she wants to do recital, she knows that she has a talent for doing announcing, and she doesn't want to lose. So she's going to go towards a thing that she is good at, the thing that she has that innate talent for. I like how Matsuyuki speaks up and he's like, well, it makes sense. Why would you compete in something that you're not cut out for? Rather than keep pushing and building and trying to exercise these muscles and trying so hard and training in something that you're not built for, it's better to go towards something that you're just built for, and yet you'll get results. It's sad that it makes sense. It's literally what everybody has to go through at some point. That I love this, and I want to do this, but I'm just not built for it. I don't have the body structure. I don't have the muscle mass for it. I don't have the genes for it. Whereas this, I can do so easily, even though I don't really want to do it. It's just something that comes natural for me. It's the age-old struggle that so many people have. Again, like I've had problems with. And the idea that I had a previous job was doing very well. And yeah, I wanted to talk about anime. I want to do something that I enjoy. And I do feel like a lot of people will come to a realization point at some point that yes, they can come to grips with doing the thing they don't want to do and be perfectly fine and live the rest of their life happy. They'll just accept the fact that this is a job, it gets the bills paid, whatever, yada, yada, yada. And then there's some people that will choose to, even struggle with doing what they enjoy, but live the rest of their life enjoying that time they do it. It's loving what you do. But no, Matsuyuki speaking up about that. On looked so doki doki. Skeet. Hana hears it like, you like him? What the heck are you talking about? Why do you say that? I don't know, because you're staring at him with glowy eyes and saying skeet. Again, it could be that she just said like that he said that, yada yada. Didn't say Akiyama ski, but still those eyes, that girl's in love. Somebody actually. And yes, there is an element there where I kind of feel like he's just playing into it, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Like, he's speaking truth. In the end, Matsuyuki is speaking truth. He's saying, yeah, if she doesn't have the talent for it, why keep pushing towards something? And which is kind of odd, because if I remember correctly, that's sort of opposite to what his whole introduction was. Hopes to overcome cowardly pride and give his all, lack of experience or not. Now, granted, technically none of that really has anything to do with innate talent, but it's still kind of interesting. But I can say that it kind of makes it sound like he's all about results, and it doesn't really matter all the other stuff. It's just overcoming something, just going towards something, building towards something. So I don't know. It was good. But yeah, with On really kind of being doki doki about Matsuyuki Akiyama, it kind of makes you wonder if they do end up bringing up an element of Shudai having always liked On, and then again them going to different middle schools, and then at some point, yes, her being sort of walked all over and going into being an announcer, if there'll be an element of him at some point kind of going, oh, I still like her, but no, now she likes Akiyama. I don't know. It kind of feels like they have sort of painted some love interest already in this whole thing, where it does feel like Shudai seems like he kind of likes Hana, and the idea that she likes what she does, and that's all that matters, and that seems to be something that he likes. He says something to the effect of, I like people that enjoy what they do versus people that, walk all over other people's talents. Hana seems like she's somebody of that first, that she likes what she does. And then yes, right here, On being doki doki with Matsuyuki, and Matsuyuki speaking up for her. It feels like they're kind of setting up love interest. But again, this is the writer for Sound Euphonium. They like the Yuri bait, so we're going to probably have Hana and Mizuki kind of being like thirsty towards each other for a while, and then they'll probably go back to the actual boys. They do that. They like to do that. But yeah, then they conclude the episode by some dude showing up to ask if anybody wants to be part of the drama club. I'm wondering if that might be their actual advisor. Maybe he's just joking. I don't remember if they actually brought up the advisor's name. I think they did at some point. But yeah, fantastic episode. I probably jabbered way too much about this episode, but again, this is a lot of stuff that I kind of feel very passionate about when it comes to talent and doing something that you enjoy. So it definitely resonated with me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this very long video. Thanks to everybody that stuck around for the entire thing. If you did like the video, make sure to hit that like button down below, comment, let me know it's the episode. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe before you leave. If you like this content, you want to support channel more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, I'll take care.